Greetings, everyone, and peace be upon you. This is the last day of Ramadan, of the holy month of Ramadan, and last night Quran was recited at one of the mosques in my area. I'm home, extremely tired. Worked today, and then went to the mosque and prayed. And want to share with you, today was also Friday. Earlier today was Friday. Now is actually Saturday morning, Saturday night. I'd say early Saturday, 1:44 a.m. And during the Friday Juma, something very interesting happened that I want to share with you right away. Let me just start by saying that my organic twin has reemerged. Yay! For all those who made comments that you said, what about what's going to happen if your twin flame reemerges after you start this relationship with your manifested twin? A lot of you were worried about that. I wasn't, because everything happens for a reason. We just have to go with the flow. We don't know the future. Let's remember that. We can attract our own future. We can attract positive uh, outcomes. We can manifest positive outcomes. Okay, you hear that sound? That's my manifested twin calling me. So I'm gonna have to cut this and add later. Just let you know what's going on. Okay, so everybody is online right now. Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, so I will continue now because the connection with Bangladesh is on and off, and my manifested twin was just sending me photos of marshlands, of beautiful green fields, mashallah, of Bangladesh, vicinity of Dhaka. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this experience. But let's go back to talking about my organic twin who reemerged today after almost exactly date a year, 365 days to date. I will check. I will post on the link below when I post the video. I will find out. I will do calculation right now. I'm not sure if it's exactly a year, but he showed up on my day, on a day after my birthday last last year, Eid. I saw him on Eid, which is now coming up this Sunday. So last year on Eid, but last year's Eid was 10 days earlier because we calculate holiday and the holy month of Ramadan by lunar calendar. So it fell 10 days uh, earlier this year. So last year, uh, after Eid, he showed up on Eid at the mosque, and then he showed up next Friday, which was just days after, not a whole week, but a few days after Eid, he showed up. It was Friday when we normally go to mosque, so which is like a Muslim holiday, congregational day, you already know. And so he showed up on that day, and that day was the day after my birthday, which was 15th of July. My birthday is 14th of July, and Sacral Chakra guy's birthday is 15th of July. How convenient. So, and I actually started uh, seeing Sacral Chakra guy very shortly after that time in July, kind of by the end of July, he called me. But that was after the dream that I had, the guided dream that I had, that I saw him in a dream, and then he rang me up, and I knew that I had to go with that flow, and I did. So today my twin flame showed up, so that's about a year now. And probably not by coincidence because, well, quite likely not by coincidence because I saw his younger sister night before yesterday at the mosque. She was with her mother praying, and what happened was I told you guys that his mother, that my organic twin mother shows up, his sister shows up, his father shows up, but he was nowhere to be seen all this time. And although I heard he's in the town, he's in the city, but I didn't know what was going on with him, uh, except that he kind of gave up his energy into someone else and essence into someone else. That's what I feel very strongly. And he was not to be seen, but his mother showing up at the mosque. And the night before yesterday, when the prayers ended at the mosque at night, his mother was crying very, very much. And I happened to tell a couple of people days before that I am engaged to my manifested twin, and those people do know my organic twin's mother, so it must have come to her, the news, and she was the one who was against not against our relationship, because we never actually had a relationship per se, me and the organic twin, but she was, if you follow me closely, she was against her son's feelings for me that he showed that he was displaying at the beginning of our journey, at the beginning of our when we met each other, which was about 6 years ago. And so she was very upset that he was showing signs of affection for me, although he was trying to hide it. But it was kind of something, he was giving himself away with few things, when his nervousness, and mothers know, usually mothers know, they have that gut feeling. So I was their customer, and he would be very mean to me sometimes, and then after that me and her became friends, but he rebelled against them and moved on to something else, different venue, and so on. So now I see his mother anyways, and she's crying, and I said, what was wrong? And she says, nothing. I'm just I was listening to the prayer, got emotional. Obviously something else was going on. And when I said, oh, okay, well, don't cry, it's just, everything's fine, then she said, oh no, I'm asking God to give me, and then she broke into, she didn't say to give her what, and she broke into tears, and her daughter was standing there, and I hugged her, and I said, everything's fine, you are loved, I love you, and I still love her very much, because she's my organic twin's mother, and she was my first practice of unconditional love, because it's very hard to love someone who does not show you affection, but quite opposite. And she was kind of in our push and pull dynamics that me and I had. She was kind of making it even harder for both of us. Maybe he would have had more courage to, approach me, but she was kind of putting obstacle there too. So after that, I became nicer and nicer to her, and genuinely, I felt that I could understand her perspective, that she doesn't understand what's going on with her son. She even, not openly, but she didn't accuse me, but she did kind of hint that maybe there was some magic or something going on. And in their tradition, they believe a lot in magic, and magic does exist. I mean, let's face that, black magic does exist. But she kind of pointed out at me that because she could not explain the huge energy between me and her son. Of course, people don't know about twin flames, so she was, this mystery for her was like, just point finger at me and kind of tell her son to stay away from me or whatever. So I gave her that, and I just kept loving her, because I started feeling genuine feelings for her because she is karmic mother of my twin. So over the years, we developed this kind of nice and sweet relationship. But as I said, he still didn't come around. Uh, and so she's crying, and I hug her and I tell her that she's loved. And I just kind of, this whole thing with my current situation gave me courage to speak up. And I turned to her daughter, to my twin sister, and I said, by the way, she grew, twin sister, she grew from a little girl into a wonderful young lady now. Because, 6 years makes a huge difference from someone who's 11 years old to now being 17-year-old young woman, and very, very mature, just like her brother is. And I turned to her and I said, how's your brother? I have not seen him in mosque over a year. Must have been almost a year or over a year. I hope he's still spiritual. I hope he still believes in, still has his faith. And she just kind of nodded her head as like confirmative, that she got it. She got my message, because she was always, since she was a child, she was feeling our affection between me and her brother, and she was always kind of sweet little kid, always running to me, and I would pat her head and ask her how, she was the one who would tell me how her brother was and how is he doing. So she's now a grown young lady, 17, young girl, and she's very mature, and she just nodded her head and like confirmatively told me she understand what I meant by that. And she must have talked to him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the unseen. In Islam, we say gaib. Unseen is the word for unseen is Arabic word gaib. And we say only Allah, only Source knows all the invisible things, hidden things, things of heart, things behind the closed doors. So I don't know. I don't have such psychic abilities, and I'm not trying to have, although I have telepathy with my twin, with my manifested twin, with sacral chakra guy, with lots of other people, but I cannot see into other people's conversations. So I'm not sure if she talked to him, but most likely she did, because what happened today is, as I'm driving my car onto the parking lot of our mosque, my mother actually, she looked up, and right in front of my car, this is not the first time, he would do that many, many times in the past. He kind of just jumped in front of my car and kind of like just appeared, pretended again that he doesn't see us, while one of his eyes is just like wandering to the side and kind of wandering, looking under his eyelid, like on the side. That's his thing. Always has been his thing, like his shy little side glance. That song, I will post it below, that says when you looked over your shoulder, he will always look over his shoulder and kind of peek quickly and give me a glance. So he did that, and he pretended that he was just like passing through, and he walked in front. I could not believe my eyes. I have not seen him in a year, and he's just as handsome as always, as beautiful as always. As always, my one who just seems most right in any aspect, physical, everything, his shape, everything. It's just my other half. That's why I know he's my organic twin. He's my other half, organic other half. And as if not the day has passed, like he just seems so familiar always. And even to my mother, because she feels me, and she looked up and she says, oh, isn't that, so and so? And I looked up and I said, wow, it is so and so. What is going on? And he walked really slowly towards mosque, even though it was already, the prayers have started and I was running late. And he knows that I always kind of am fashionably late. And he used to do that in the past, like kind of cross the roads with me on purpose, like run into me under quotation marks. And sometimes I would catch him wait. He was waiting, he would wait in his car until we arrive, and then he would suddenly leave his car and run into us on the parking lot just so we can just exchange glances or greetings, and then we would go run to mosque and go to our own prayer areas. So he's back, as you all or most of you had commented that he would be back. And I did not say that he was not going to come back. I did not say anything. I did not guess anything. I'm just going with the universal flow, what the universe is sending me. That's what I'm doing. I'm not struggling against universe, against Allah, because being Muslim means to submit to the will of God. And many people who are not calling themselves Muslims, who may call themselves New Age or healers or light workers, are actually Muslims, not being aware of that, but from the perspective that Muslim means one who submits, who is ready to accept the flow and go with the flow, is actually what the word Muslim means. To be in peace with the source and accept what happens, what source sends down to us. So I was going with the flow, and I still am. Manifested twin, I did the same with the sacral chakra guy. And here's the biggest surprise for today. So as I walked into the mosque, I had to attend the prayer, so I did not walk over the balcony to stare at my twin or find out where he was standing, because I always put my source, Allah, in the first place. I mean, when it comes to worship. So I went upstairs, I concentrated on my prayer, because then who else is going to manifest my twin? Who's going to make a manifestation come through but Allah, but God, source, source of all, the one who sends manifestation into form. So I prayed, and after I finished prayer, again, I ran into his mother and his sister. Everybody went downstairs, and I was searching with my eyes to see him. And I assume he was still inside the mosque, because this was not the first time he would do this. He would still hide and then reemerge from the mosque maybe by the time I already sit in my car and I'm ready to leave, but then he would cross in front of my car again. He would do that a lot of times before. So I decided, because where we left the car, where I parked, was a little bit far away from the mosque entrance, because it was very packed with people. There was a lot of people attending the services today. So I decided to walk back to my car, pick up my car, drive it to the closer spot now, because people were leaving, so there were more available spots closer. Bring my car to the front, and my mother was there, so she wouldn't have to walk. But I went to pick up my car, and I swear I cannot believe how invisible my organic twin could have been, because I looked everywhere. I didn't see him. Once I passed, there's a wall between the first parking and the secondary parking. And my car was on the secondary parking. So as I passed through the gate on that wall that leads to secondary parking, like adjacent parking, I turned around one more time to take a look at the mosque, and if he was maybe standing somewhere in the corner that I didn't notice him. So I was like now looking from the distance, and I noticed that he was standing right there by the wall, turned his back to me and taking photos of the mosque. And I don't know, that means that I must have passed by him, right by him, when he was standing there by the wall, because I had to go through that gate in the wall to get to the other side of the parking. I don't know how I was looking around, and how was he standing there and not being visible to me beats me. It happened once before when I was at the fundraising dinner about 4 years ago in a hotel, and we were assigned different tables, and I had one round table for 8 people We had dinner, it's like those fundraiser dinners at the hotel for our community. And so he was sitting 2 tables away from mine. What happened was my mother was there, and everyone else told me he was sitting there. I didn't see him. The whole time I didn't see him, and they said, how come you didn't notice him? I said, I don't know. I just, it was must have been some kind of God's will that I didn't see him that night, because what he did at that time, he was running away from me. He would be like running to me and then kind of suddenly take off, pretend like he wouldn't greet me or something like that. So I was being hurt at that time. My ego was running wild. It was crazy. So I was grateful that I didn't see him. Those hurtful moments, like if he's not seeing me, then I didn't want to be a chaser, in other words. So it just, not on purpose, but I didn't see him that one time. And now again, I just didn't see him. I passed by him. I turned around to look at the mosque one more time, and I saw him standing right there by the wall, not looking at me, but looking the other way around into the mosque and taking photos. Interesting. So anyway, I take my car. Now I have to go around and enter back into the property of the mosque, to the front. And I don't see him standing by the wall. He must have ran off into his car, or back to the, it's possible that he ran back to the mosque by the time I took the car. That wouldn't be first time either. But here's what I find, another surprise waiting for me by the mosque, at the front door of the mosque. My shy Asperger syndrome sacral chakra guy, who did not attend mosque services since he arrived from Afghanistan about almost a little bit more than a year ago, and when we were seeing each other, he never attended services at the mosque that I attend. As I told you in the previous 2 videos, I saw him 2 times already at the mosque after we decided not to see each other anymore. And after I asked him to please be more spiritual and not to lose his faith, that he should go back to being spiritual, even though he's busy, even though he has school and work. He promised me he would, and so I saw him twice. I saw him twice already. Now, this time, he was standing right there at the front. And I just know that he wanted me to see him, that he wanted to be seen, maybe even talk, but if I probably started the conversation first. He was standing there, and the prayer was already over. People were already leaving. And he's not a friendly person per se, because he has Asperger's syndrome. He doesn't have that many friends. He's very handsome young man, just like my twin is too. But he is not socially active because of his syndrome. So he's standing there with some of his friends, like one young guy. And that's just not typical for him. It's not typical. So I know that he's giving himself away. He's standing there. He just wanted to maybe he's acting like my twin. He wanted to be seen. What's amazing is that everybody showed up at the same time, at the same spot. This never happened before. This is great manifestation. Great things are happening. I'm not sure yet what's going on now, but it is definitely powerful, because my twin is there, my sacral chakra guy is there. For me, it's a great confirmation that I was not wrong, that we are all connected, we are all one. Maybe I'm assuming it's possible. There's chances that my sacral chakra guy and my organic twin were praying inside right next to each other in the same row, perhaps. Just minutes before. And I told you how sacral chakra guy was channeling my twin flame, and I know in 3 days they do not know each other. They're not friends. Who knows? But right now they don't know each other yet. So twin flame, organic twin flame, he's from Pakistan. Sacral chakra guy is from Afghanistan. Twin flame's mother is from Afghanistan too. I mentioned that before. So all this has to do with bloodlines as well, but it has to do definitely with channeling and being one, coming from the same source, praying at the same place, praying to the source. And it gives me goosebumps how magical and beautiful all this is, and how much love. And that's not all. So as I'm approaching with my car and parking right there in the front, in the first spot, right next to the mosque, and I see now my sacral chakra guy standing there. What amazing surprise. And he's doing his side look, his over the shoulder look. I know he's looking at me and looking at me parking the car there, and I just had to smile at him. And it was just impulse movement. I hung the horn at him lightly, of course, because I'm still at the front of the mosque. I just let just like a little beep beep, and he turned around, and his friend obviously gave him away, because his friend immediately waved at me, like, how, and I don't know this guy, so how did he know that I was someone familiar, or how did he know that I was honking at them, not someone else, because there was other people still standing there. So he gave him away, that he must have shared some information with him about me, that he was standing there and just trying to maybe see me again. Funny thing is, now this just keeps getting more interesting, because right next to them, right, like back to back, next to them, I see my mother standing with someone, um, what appeared to be unknown people to me at the moment. And obviously, sacral chakra guy was very close to my mother at that moment, physically close, like right behind her. He was standing, turned back to her, and they know each other. My mother told me later that she didn't notice him, she didn't recognize him, because she hasn't seen him. The time I was seeing him, my mother has not seen him, because he knew my mother from the store where we met, and where I was shopping often, and he would always greet my mother first. And at this time when we were seeing each other, he would always inquire about my mom and say, does she remember him? What does she think of him? Would she be accepting of him? And now he was standing right next to her. Maybe he wanted to talk to my mom. I don't know. Maybe he wanted her to recognize him and start up a conversation. I'm not sure. But he was standing right there next to my mother, and my mother was talking to some people that I didn't recognize at first. So as I honked the horn, and sacral chakra guy's friend turns around and waves at me instantly, sacral chakra guy looks at me quickly, gets very, very, very nervous, doesn't know what to do, where to go, run or whatever, because what I did was unexpected and funny. I thought it was funny, because I very much love him still. I always probably will. I'm very grateful for the experience we spent and had together, and how much I appreciate his love and everything, this energy that we shared, and really helped me greatly on this journey. And so I feel his love, and it was our mutual decision to keep away from each other. Now I feel that he misses me. I feel that he's back there to perhaps talk to me. But again, this is whole. Some of you may say this is complicated, but I think everything is happening for a reason right now. It's divine timing, and it's kind of culmination. Things are culminating, right? It's like in a good way, when things get really heated up and interesting. I think it's beautiful, what's going on. So to continue, my mother is standing with some people. I walk out and I come to talk to them. My mother, to see who is she talking to. My sacral chakra guy is super confused right there, because he now doesn't know if I honked the horn at him or at these people that my mother was standing with, because I approached them, and as soon as I approach them, I go, oh wow, because what I see is my long friend that I have not seen in such a long time. What does this mean? This friend is actually friend and his father, and the friend was just a child when I met him, and now he's turned into a very handsome, beautiful young man. And that was, I met him actually about 9 years ago. He was only 10. He's 19. He's absolutely gorgeous young man. And now Sacral Chakra guy doesn't know that I used to babysit this guy, and he looks just you know, like a handsome guy. He doesn't know who this is. He got very confused, started turning around. He doesn't know where to. Does he want to stare at us? What's going on? Or look the other way? And his friend is like staring at him. What's going on? And what he doesn't know is this is someone I knew when he was a child, and I cannot believe because I recognize that face. It was always that guy was always a beautiful child, very beautiful, handsome face. His father was there, and they were talking to my mother. They came back from Iraq. Actually, they're from Iraq, and my old friend Abdul, he said, "Look, I have to tell you something. Yesterday, I found a greeting card you wrote to me 9 years ago for Ramadan when I was just a child, and." Okay, my manifested twin is calling me again. I have to take this. I will continue. I swear, I will tell you what happened next. Alright, sorry about that. So that was my manifested twin on the phone. He sent me photos from his lovely homestead. He lives in the big city of Dhaka. He's just visiting his parents right now. And I just love the nature. I think I resonate very much with that nature that he's walking through. I will post those photos right now in this video so you guys can feel the energy of that place and understand why I want this reunion to happen in that place, in that full spiritual, peaceful energy that place is surrounded with. Not this congested, polluted energy that I feel in this city that I live in the United States, which is very, very sad and depressing city for me, but for everyone. I'm pretty happy person, but for everyone, it's very hard to stay focused on happiness here. Anyways, we were talking, and our relationship is just, if you can call it that, our union, so incredible. I described a little bit in the previous video. I don't want to get into that right now. It's just what twin flames are supposed to have in 4D and 5D and in 3D as well. Soon, God willing, Yashallah, Alhamdulillah, MashaAllah. So go back to what happened at the mosque. A friend of mine who I haven't seen in 9 years starts telling me that he found a card that I gave him, apparently, which I can't remember by any chance, that I gave him 9 years ago when he was 10, telling him what a nice and spiritual boy he was. And he said, because at that time he attended services, he was praying. I've never seen a child so mature at his age and praying and everything, and always loved him like a little brother of mine. And so he said that he read the card, and he said that my sacral chakra guy could hear him just as well, because he was standing right there next to us. He said when he read that, he just found it yesterday. He said, I cried so much. I was so emotional. It meant so much to me what you wrote to me when I was a child. It led me through all these years and kept me on my spiritual path. And I want to thank you for that. And at that moment, I just imagined that somehow he was channeling my organic twin, because so many times I supported my twin on his birthdays, for example, I would send him. I was never pushy on him. I was never a chaser, but on his birthday, I showered him with my unconditional love, without any expectation in the back, in expecting anything back. I would send gift to his family because his mother and father's anniversary is about the same time. I would send them an anniversary gift. I would send him a birthday gift. I would send something small for his brother and sister, and I would always write an interesting note to him, supporting his life, supporting his youth and his mission in life and his struggles. Just give him advice or something as a friend, you know. And I wondered now, because this child who just came now as a young man, 19-year-old man, telling me these things, it reminded me of many other people who told me that I've changed their perspective on something, or my words have comforted them or meant so much to them. And I wondered now, I mean, I didn't even wonder, I just kind of remember at that moment when he was telling me that my twin must have felt energy of my notes and things that I wrote to him and how much he means to me, and he knows. And he must have cried many times reading those, you know. Uh, if you ever watched a movie called Practical Magic, if you haven't, I recommend you do. It's with with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, and one of my favorite movies. Not, I'm not into magic, but the whole story of their sisterhood, of their connection and love, and the great love that Sandra Bullock's character has with Aidan Queen's character is just mesmerizing, so amazingly beautiful. And if you watch that movie, you will see the love letter she wrote. Not love letter, but yes, in a way, love letter to her sister, where she describes to her what kind of love she's dreaming of. And I think it's a twin flame movie. I mean, these two are twin flames. They're like searching for each other for years. In that letter, later on, Aidan Queen's character turns out to be a police officer, and he confiscated the letter as part of evidence. He read it because it was between the two sisters, and because there was a murder case involved in the story. So he read her letter, and he came to meet her. And later on, when he admits his love to her, he says to her that he must have read that letter thousands of times, hundreds of times, or thousands of times. I don't remember, but the way he described how he read that letter and how he cried just today reminded me of my twin, and I know my organic twin is suffering greatly in his cage, in his emotional cage. But I cannot break into someone's cage without being a chaser. And when we become chasers, then we push them further away. So I just want him to bloom on his own. And I'm not giving up on him. I never said I will, but I cannot stop the flow of universe and things that are happening. Everything happens for a reason, because I don't know what's going to happen next. I told you that in many of my videos. I just go with the flow. So my manifested twin, as soon as I talked to my old friends and we exchanged phone numbers and things, and in the meantime, sacral chakra guy, you're probably wondering what he was doing. He just kind of shyly and confused, he took off just to the side, his friend to the side, whispered to him, and moved down to the parking lot, and kind of ran away himself too. Again, don't know what's next with him. I love him greatly. I love him greatly. I love my twin greatly. I love everyone. I love you guys. Love is all there is. Love is the only real thing. Everything else is an illusion. You guys, I hope you realize that. I love my friend who showed up after many years, and he looks at me still with so much love. When he was a kid, I think as a little boy, he had so much respect and love for me. He always looked at me with so much love, like an older sister or someone, someone he can look up to. And now he's looking at me with the same love that never went away, and so beautiful. and he's a beautiful young man now. I'm so proud of him. So that's not all. After they took off, I was going to drive my car off, and um, my organic twin sister was standing there with her mother. Everybody was gone. She was standing there with her mother, and and my twin flame's father was standing with some guy. I don't know. I have a feeling they wanted to talk to me, but they're very shy people. They're very withdrawn type of family, all of them. And I guess they know I'm open. They want me to approach them first, but I simply can't. I can't turn into a chaser, and I never really was a chaser, but it looked that way because I was the first one who recognized our connection. So now I don't want to be, it's not my ego. I just don't want to be exposing myself to the point that, I start pushing things around again. I give them opportunity. I'm there. They can talk to me if they want, but um, they seem not to be. They're like ready, but not ready to say something or reconnect. They're just standing there. Everybody was already gone, and we're standing with just a few friends of theirs and keeping them obviously from their daily chores. And I called my organic twin sister. I just waved to her to come to my car, and she moved quickly to my car. And I said, "Listen, I saw your brother today. I saw he came to mosque." And I just said this. I don't know why. It was just downloaded to me at that moment to go completely bare naked honesty. And I said, "Listen, I saw him. It's been a year, and just tell him when he comes home that I'm very proud of him. And I'm so relieved and happy that he hasn't lost his way and he's back to the mosque and he's back to being to his creator and submitting his will to him. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of him. Tell him that." And she smiled with such a beautiful way, such a satisfying smile at me, like that secret knowledge that I am his brother's great love, that he's mine. She seemed, she, as I said, she was just a 9-year-old too when me and her brother met. And, or 11, no, she was 11. And little, small, petite 11-year-old girl. Now she's beautiful young girl, and she smiled. She was so happy that I said that. And so she took off, and so I'm hoping for Eid to be happy. We will see who shows up, what happens. My manifested twin just said on the phone, when he showed me these fields, he said, soon we will run on these fields together. So something beautiful I'm expecting now, something beautiful to happen. And I want to ask you a favor, all of you out there. Expect beautiful thing to happen. Just keep expecting beautiful. Don't feel yourself that you're in a waiting stage, that you're just the ones who are waiting, because that's what I did, and I felt so unhappy, and I didn't move on from my twin. I'm just not sitting on my behind and waiting anymore. I'm just now moving on with the current, with the flow, with the things that come to me. I let things come to me, and I accept them. I expect good things to come to me, and then I accept them. You should do the same. I'm not saying to give up on your twin, but whatever universe, Allah, source sends you, accept it, because it will eventually lead you home. It will eventually lead you to your destination, a beautiful destination. So take what is sent to you. Take it. Accept it. Don't push it back because it's not your twin. Don't push it back because everyone is your twin. He's in everything that you touch, that you ever look at. He's you. So don't give up on your hope, and don't feel like you're waiting for nothing. Keep moving. Keep feeling things. Be in emotion and be in the motion. Okay? I love you guys. Stay true to your love. Stay true to this journey, and I'm gonna keep posting soon what's next. Okay? Love you guys. Thanks for keeping up with me for so long. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.